Metalhead trolling flies. You saw that huge lightning trout, a couple big rainbows. The reputation of the metalhead is well established when it comes to catching really large trophy-sized trout, as well as pan-sized trout and all sizes of trout in between. Now, I get a lot of questions about rigging metalhead trolling flies, and I'm going to break it down for you right now. So, the number one way that we like to rig them is we like to rig them on 10-pound test fluorocarbon line. Use a Palomar knot. I cut off about 36 to 40 inches of leader material. So I tie the fly on with the Palomar knot. Then, that hook is sharp, as you can see. Then, I slide on an action disc with the stem pointed towards the fly. No bobber stops, nothing in between. I run it right on the nose of the fly. Up here, I just put a simple loop in the leader. We call that the naked rigging with an action disc. We'll troll that anywhere from 1.5 to 3.5 miles an hour. Probably 1.8 to about 2.3, 2.4 is our most common speed. You can fish this at any depth. You can put a little trolling weight on a top line, fish it a foot beneath the surface. You can take it up to Shasta in the dead of summer. You can put it on the downrigger. You can dump it down, 100 feet. You can fish it on lead core. You can fish it behind a dipsy diver. Whatever depth you want to fish it at and whatever means you want to use to get it down to that depth doesn't really matter. Experiment with color. A lot of times if the fish are, in a bait fish lake like Shasta, like Folsom, where they're feeding on pond smelt or threadfin shad, I'm going to lean towards the whites and blues, stuff like that, at least to start the day, something that is reminiscent of a bait fish. In other situations, maybe in the high Sierras where the fish eat a lot of bugs, I'm going to bust out the bright stuff. If I'm fishing for newly planted fish, like I'm doing a lot of times at Collins Lake, I'll break out the bright stuff. I think that that big lightning you saw, when he took a pink metalhead just like that. These flies are effective because of the vibration and the interplay between the action disc and the head when rigged this way, when rigged naked with the action disc. Now, guys often ask me, a lot of folks like to fish Dodgers or flashers all the time. They ask me, can you pair these with Dodgers or flashers? And sometimes we absolutely do. This was a very effective rigging for me this spring. I had water temperature fluctuations. I had rain. I had fish that were a little bit off the bite, and I was rigging metalheads with the action disc. I was keeping the long leader, but I was rigging them with a turbo flasher and rudder, just like that. Sometimes I was matching the color of the turbo to the color of the fly. Not sure that mattered, but it, when it matches, it looks kind of cool. But that was a very effective rigging for me up at Collins Lake for about a month this spring. That worked very well. Now, if you're at a lake like Shasta or Folsom, where you want to use a Dodger, you're in big open water, you're fishing deep, maybe you're fishing down 50, 60, 70, 100 feet deep, and you want to pair a metalhead with a Dodger, here's how you want to rig that fly. Same 10-pound test fluorocarbon, same Palomar knot. You want to lose the action disc, and you want to shorten that leader to 2 to 3 lengths of that Dodger. So if you're using a 6-inch Dodger, 12-inch leader, something like that, 14-inch leader works well. Just tie a loop in the end of that section of leader, put it behind your Dodger, just like so. Simple as that. Now, rigged naked with the action disc or rigged with the turbo, you control it at any speed, from 1.5 all the way up to 3.5, even faster. When you're pairing your metalhead with a dodger, well, you've got to regulate your speed to the action of the dodger. And with this 6-inch fisheye right here, you're talking anywhere from 1.8 to about 2.3 miles an hour, something like that. That's going to give you a nice kick. It's going to put out a lot of vibration. The fish are going to come in expecting to see a bait fish. You know, they think those impulses are a fish feeding. They come in looking for a minnow. They see your metalhead, and it is game on. That's how we're rigging them. That's how we're fishing them. This has been our #1 bait for big fish for the last 3 years. They flat out fish. They work on wild trout, holdover trout, freshly planted trout. There's just something about that fly, guys. If you would like to get your hands on some metalheads, if you don't already have some, go on up to fhsfishing.com. We have a wide array of colors up there, and every time you buy a metalhead fly, it comes with its own action disc. So all you need to do is add the fluorocarbon leader material, which you should already have in your tackle arsenal, and you are ready to get out on the water, and you are ready to fish. I probably have a metalhead in my spread 90% of the time when I'm out fishing, just because they are a trophy fish catcher. They don't always catch the most fish of the lures I'm pulling on any given day, but very often they catch the biggest fish of the day. I'm Kel Kellogg. Thanks for all the support. I will catch you next time right here on YouTube. Get some metalheads and get your trout on. Thanks a lot, guys.